Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today I am going to show you how to can chicken. Now, this process that I personally use will work for any type of meat that you want to can, whether it be chicken or beef or deer meat or rabbit or goat or, like me, lamb. Whatever you want to can, this will work for. Now, one thing you have to remember when you are canning meats, you're going to have to use a pressure canner, not a pressure cooker, a pressure canner. And there are a few things that you need to know to be safe before you begin working. So my particular canner is the 921, and here it is right here. It will hold, it's heavy, I've got water in it already. It'll hold 7 quarts at a time, 14, 15 pints, I think. Well, maybe more than that. I have to look at my book. I just load it till I go. But what you want to first do is you want to get about 2 to 3 inches of water in the bottom of your canner. Until you get the hang of your canner, just get you a measuring tape and go down 2 to 3 inches. You'll have a ring inside eventually after you've canned a while like I have, and you'll just know by looking at it. Let me see if I can pick this up and let you see what it looks like. Kind of dark in there, but there's our water. Next thing is your lid. My lid has the temperature gauge. You want to have this thing checked about once every year, once every couple of years, just to make sure that that's right. It's got a safety feature here, and also this is where the steam escapes. That thing right there. That is your steam escape, and this is the weight that you put on it. Now, however much weight that you use will depend on what altitude you are. I live in southwestern Arkansas. You could throw a stone, as I've told you before, and hit Louisiana, hit Texas. So I use 10 pounds of pressure. Another thing you want to do before you start is you want to look through this hole. There is a hole right there, and you want to make sure that you can see through that hole, that it's not stopped up. So I'm going to look up through here and see. There we go. It's there. So I can look through this little hole. Well, I don't know if you can see it. I wish I would have thought to get a light and put back here. That would have been really cool. I went and got a flashlight so you could see. Okay. You're going to look through this little piece right there, and I'm going to shine this light through there, and maybe see how it goes. You can see the light through it. That is very, very, very important. That's why I wanted you to see that. Once a canning season, but I get just plain old Equate, whatever, petroleum jelly. I put it on my fingers, and I run the rim of my canner with it. Okay, it doesn't take a lot. You don't want a lot. It's just to help it slide. Okay, so I kind of have you on the other side now. I did put the chicken over here. It's right here. Here's the chicken. And we have some vinegar, canning salt. We've got our lids and our rings that I showed you earlier. Also have some paper towels. Okay, here and here. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take, I'm going to get 7 quarts in this right here. So I'm going to get a teaspoon of canning salt and put it in the bottom of 7 of my jars. You don't have to use salt if you don't want to. It's completely up to you, but I use a teaspoon of salt for each one. Okay, so my salt's in there, right? Now you notice that I'm wearing gloves because I absolutely detest touching chicken with my bare hands. I just don't know why, but I do. It's just kind of like a thing with me. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do, I've got my boiling water right here. So I'm going to take one of these, and they're still hot, and that's okay. So I am going to get this. Now this has been boiling, so I'm just going to dip it down in there right quick. And I'm going to take my chicken, and you're going to put the bottoms down first. And you're just going to, these are fat pieces. I don't know if I can get them in this thing. I don't know, these are pretty big fat chickens. So anyway, you're going to loosely pack it, so you're going to get it down in there. I may forego this one, and it won't matter. So, I mean, these are big old chicken breasts. I mean, like, these were very good yard birds. So I'm getting probably about 2 of these huge breasts per quart. So if you put the small down first, you want to make it go different, opposite way whenever you put the next one in. So I put the big one down first, this side. So I'm going to do this the opposite way by putting the small side down. It kind of makes it sit together, I guess you'd call it. Okay. Now if you're doing legs, chicken legs, you're going to put your heavy, big, fat part of the leg. You're going to put it down like 3 down here on the bottom, and then you'll put 2 with the little part of the leg, like the knuckle part at the going in. So you've got fat meat on one side, fat meat on the top side, so they kind of fit better that way. So I can't believe how big these are, man. Those are massive. I mean, these are huge, huge pieces of chicken. And there's going to be a little bit of room. I could cut them up if I wanted to and probably fit more in there. But my husband and I are the only ones that I really do this for. There's just 2 of us. So this is really good. And you want to make it loose anyway. And I'm going to have chicken left over. So, wow. I mean, one of these pieces of chicken will feed. I probably could put a little bit more in that one. So, let me see how many I got left. I have exactly 4. So, I got 1 more, don't I? I forgot about that one. There you go in there, you big old piece of chicken. Wow. Okay, so I have literally 2 pieces left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them and put them over in these pieces. The chicken was not quite as big. And then if I have some left over, then I'll just cook it for dinner maybe. You don't want to pack it in there really, really tight, because, and honestly, wow, I just moved my thing. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you cut against the grain or whatever when you're doing this, because that's not too tight. I could fit another piece there. Because it's really not going to matter. Because once it gets in here, once it gets in there, it's going to be just getting it in there. Okay, once it gets cooked, it's going to be so tender it won't matter. I mean, this canned chicken is like the best ever. I just have to tell you that. It's not going to taste like you just, pulled a piece of chicken out to fry it. It's not going to be that good. It ain't going to be fried chicken, but it's going to be good chicken. So, I'm almost a little scared. Look at Creaky down there. If you are canning, since I saw her, I'm just going to say this. Be careful around your critters, because, you know, they love you, and they want to be with you, and just be careful around them, because this can get really, really hot and really bad. So, anyway. Okay, so I'm going to put that one inside of it. This one was a really dirty jar. I can feel it because I can feel my vinegar slipping right there. So I'm going to work extra hard. Give extra vinegar in there. Because you can feel it when it's good and clean. You can feel it. Okay. I know I probably overdo this, but honestly, that's just me. So we got all 7 in the canner now. I'm going to bring you over and let you see it. Okay. 7 nice quarts. Lid on your canner. There is, on the 921s, there's an arrow right there, and then there's like a little notch right here. You want to put that arrow on that notch, like when you stick it on there. Okay, so you're going to make sure the arrow lines up, then you pretty much know that you're where you need to be. Okay, the next thing about tightening your canner, don't tighten it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around. You're going to tighten it opposites. So you're going to grab the front one, the back one, and so opposite. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to let you watch me do that. So I'm going to take this up, and I don't tighten it yet. I just kind of put it on there, put them on there to where they're just snug. Okay. Then I'll get the next opposite 2, and I'll just snug them. Okay. Then I'll get the next opposite 2, and I'll just snug them. Okay, the next thing that you want to do is tighten. Now that you just have them snug, you're going to tighten. You're going to tighten in the same manner that you snugged them. Okay, so you're going to grab it, and you're going to go tight. And then you're going to grab it, and you're going to go tight. And you're going to grab it, and you're going to go tight. So now we have tightened it. So the thing that we're going to do now, and I'm probably going to turn the video off because it's really boring. It takes forever. But we're going to, this little vent right here that I showed you earlier that we looked through, this canner has to vent before you can put your weight on it, okay? So I know that I got to get to 10 pounds of pressure, but I also use this too. I mean, you've got to, I do have a canner that I don't have that with, and it's a little more difficult to use, so I love this one. When I bought this one, I was super, super excited, and I have 2 of them. And in the spring, when I have my garden, I have 2 going at a time. But, so this, my particular one, this has to vent for 7 minutes. And when I'm talking about vent, what I mean about vent is there's steam coming up out of here. So I'll pause it until it starts doing it, or until it's almost to the end. But when it's steaming, and I'm not talking about just a little bit of steam coming out. I'm talking about steam. So you're going to let it steam for 7 minutes. And then at the end of the 7 minutes, you're going to put your weight on, okay? When the weight goes on, okay, this is where the difference is. The weight goes on, you'll listen for this to start jiggling, or a little bit of air coming out of it, and that'll be later. I'll show it to you. But you'll look at this too, and you'll see the pressure as well. So I'll explain that when we get to that point, because it is kind of a little bit off anyway. A little bit hard to understand if you've never canned before, but canning is easy. So I'm going to go ahead and go take my gloves off, wash my hands, and clean everything up, and then I will be back with you. Okay guys, so we are back, and our little girl is finally venting. I know you can see that coming up. So at this point, I'm going to put a 7-minute timer on it, and I'll be right back. A little note of warning here. That steam is extremely hot, and it can burn you very, very badly. So don't stick your hand over that, but I want you to hear it. I'm going to let you guys go, and we will be back when our 7 minutes has stopped. Okay guys, it's been 7 minutes, so we have properly steamed our cooker. I live in Southwest Arkansas, so I can throw a stone and hit Louisiana. I can throw a stone over and hit Texas. So I am at an altitude 0 to 1,000 feet. And so I am going to use 10 pounds of pressure. I'm just going to see if I can get this on here so you can see it. See that 10? Gosh, I know you might not be able to see it. There it is. Okay. So you're going to take the little thing that's on the bottom of it, and you're going to put this, hard to do with just one hand. Okay. You're going to put that over that. Okay. Now, what happens on this process is once you put your pressure gauge on there, the pressure is going to start building up inside of your canner. So eventually it'll start to jiggle and sputter, and I'm talking about the weight there. It's going to jiggle and it's going to sputter, and then that way you'll know that the right poundage has been reached. Once you have been canning a while, you'll know exactly where to put your flame to make it come to pressure, and and how long and it just totally depends on what pressure cooker you buy and what altitude you're at. So one other thing, now this right here, never use this pressure gauge as your gauge. This is here just for I guess maybe a backup, because it's a geared gauge there. It's going to range between since I have mine on a 10-pound pressure, it's going to range between an 8 and a 12. So you want to really go by the old-fashioned way of the jiggle. So that'll start jiggling, and then as soon as that jiggles, and then I look over here and I see where my pressure is over here. Usually with this canner, by the time this jiggles, this over here is at about 11. It's just the way this one is. So then at that point, I will start my timer to actually do the cook. So you're going to vent your cooker for however long your manufacturer instructions say, minus 7 minutes. Then you're going to let the pressure build, and then when the pressure builds and the steam escapes, and that's what the jiggling is the steam coming through there, then you will set your timer on how long to process your food. For quart jars of meat, it is 1.5 hours. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn this off because, trust me, it is a very boring job to sit and watch this canner.